When it comes to computers, are you an old dog? Why? We can teach you, and we can teach you for free all about computers. Really, free. TeachAnOldDogNewTricks.com, a great place to learn all about computers. Sit, stay, and learn. Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz from the John Anthony Group, and I want to thank you for being here today for our Microsoft Word training. I want to just say one more time, you might have listened to our introduction and why we want you to take Microsoft Word training. We go over a lot of little things that we're not going to jump up and down and say, hey, these are basics, these are fundamentals. But there's a lot of things we do in this class that will carry over into all the other Microsoft Office classes. For example, they'll carry over to Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. Having stated that, everything you learn in this class will also carry over into almost everything you do working on the computer. So we show you a lot of little things, and as an example of that, something as simple as how to select text. Before we get into all of that, what I want you to observe on the screen is just different areas of the screen. Now, we're making an assumption at this point that you at a minimum know how to open up Microsoft Word. When you open it up, you most likely see something very similar to what we're seeing now. Now, there can be slight variations, but what I want you to be aware of is up on the very top of our screen we have a blue bar, and this is called the title bar. These little items right here I want you to ignore, but on the far right we have a little minus sign, a box with two squares in it, and an X. Well, what the X does is that will close all of Microsoft Word, this red X. The X below here will close just this particular sheet of Microsoft Word. When you open up Microsoft Word, I want you to think of it like a notebook. When you open up Word, you're opening up or taking out that notebook and setting it on your desk. When you flip the first page open, then you see a white sheet of paper, very much like I'm seeing now. When you click on the red X up in the top, it closes all of Microsoft Word. But if you click on the X below, it will close only this particular sheet. And the reason that's important to know is because sometimes when you're working in Microsoft Word, you might be working on more than one thing at a time. So you might have 3, 4, 5 separate sheets of paper open. So if you think of it like a notebook where the red X closes the entire notebook, the lower X closes just that sheet. So it's just a little thing that will help you, and that also is the same when you're working with Microsoft Excel and PowerPoint. Outlook, it's not so much the same because it's just a little bit of a different program. But that's an example of the little things you'll learn in this class that will carry over and that I don't really discuss in the other classes because we make an assumption that you have taken Microsoft Word. So when we look at the screen, what we're seeing up top is a blue bar, and on the far left it says Document 3-Microsoft Word. I want you to ignore for the moment the Document 3 name. I will tell you that the reason it's called that is because when we open this document, it had to give it some kind of name. Now the Document 3 is a little bit random, not completely, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But this blue bar up top is what's called the title bar. So this title bar will tell you the name of the document when you open it. You can just refer up to that. As we go down the screen a little bit more, we have all of these items right up here. This is called the menu bar. Go down just a little bit more, and we have what is called the standard bar. Next bar, next group of icons is called the Formatting Toolbar. Now, when I teach computers, although I'm teaching you this right now and I'm giving you some names, I'm going to ask you for the most part, forget about the names. Because I try to teach computers much like I would suggest driving a car. And let me explain that. If I said to you, before you can drive a car, you have to know what everything in that car is called, the exact name of it, you have to know exactly how it works, should it break down, should it need repair. Well, I can tell you personally, I would not very often drive a car because I don't have the time and patience to learn the names of everything. So my approach to computer training is I'm not going to try to train you in such a way that you're going to be able to pass a test. So for example, if someone said, "What's this called?" Well, I got to be honest, a lot of these things I couldn't tell you. But I don't want you to know that. I honestly don't want to know that. My feeling is this: there is so much to learn about computers and just about things in general in life that I don't want you to waste your time learning and memorizing things that you just simply don't need to know. What you need to be able to do is you need to be able to use the software effectively for your business or just on a personal level. But you don't need to know what it's called. You just need to know how to do it and what to do. And that's really my focus. That's really where I concentrate. So although I'm going to show you these things right now, only because I'm not going to show you or tell you what these are in some of the other classes, most likely, I just want to point out to you that when we look at Microsoft Word and we have these toolbars, everything you see here is almost exactly the same as what you'll see when you open up Microsoft Excel and Microsoft PowerPoint. If I come down the end of the toolbar on this toolbar and on the next toolbar, these items you see here are somewhat unique to Microsoft Word. In other words, when we open up Microsoft Excel, you're going to see items down towards the right end of these items that are going to be unique to Excel. These are unique to Word. Almost all these things over to the left are exactly the same in both software programs. The same thing is going to occur when you open up Microsoft PowerPoint. So understanding the most fundamental aspects of Microsoft Word, and we're going to approach some of these, will allow you to understand these things when you open up Excel. A lot of it will be very new to you, but some of it is going to become very familiar because you're used to using them in Microsoft Word. So this is why I've stated the fundamentals you're going to learn here today will carry over into everything you do. When we open up Microsoft Word, we also see a bar over here called the task pane. And honestly, what I'm going to ask you to do with this task pane is just simply go up and click on the X and close it. I don't want you to even be concerned with that for right now. There's a chance when you open up Word you didn't see that come up, and that's quite okay. When we observe Microsoft Word, we have a scroll bar on the right hand side, we have a ruler on the top and a ruler on the left. Again, for now, with the exception of just pointing those out, I want you to ignore those because they're not going to be that relevant initially. We also have what is called an insertion point, and that's the blinking cursor you see on your screen. That insertion point is simply where you'll start seeing text the minute you start typing. So let me illustrate that. I'm going to type in my name, Tony Holowitz. Notice the typing speed, it's just so fast. Now, when I've typed in my name, at this point we have a document that is unique. Or another way to look at this is we actually have a document that now if we tried to exit out of Microsoft Word, Word wouldn't let us. The minute we put anything in this blank sheet of paper, whether it simply be a space or whether it be a period or a comma or a dash, it doesn't matter. The minute we put something in here, we have got a document that we've started to create. So just to show you what I'm referring to, let's say we decide we want to go up to the top right and we want to close down Microsoft Word, and I'm going to click on the top red X. Well, what's going to happen is we're going to get a warning that says, hey, wait a minute, do you want to save the changes you made to document 3? Now, when we look at this document, the only thing we've put in here is our name. So when we have this document, Word is not going to let us leave this until we make a decision what to do with it. If we say, yes, we want to save the changes, we'll be prompted to give this document a name. This can honestly, in my opinion, be a little confusing because sometimes you'll think, wait a minute, I didn't make any changes to a document, or you're not sure what you did. If you're at all confused, I always recommend click Cancel and just stop and think about what you've done. Sort of concentrate on this and think, did I add anything? Maybe it had your name in it and you hit the space bar and that's what you did differently. But having said all of that, I want to just point out that the minute you create a document and you've put something in it and it's changed If you try to exit out of that document, you'll be prompted to save it. Because we've taken a blank document and put our name